Swinging a drive. Get up, bar. He's done it again. A two-run shot in the first.
Hello and welcome to Swing and a Drive, Toronto Blue Jays fancast. Spring training is over, the roster is set, and we are ready for regular season baseball. That guy's James, and I am Logan. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about the roster, why we think Lucas got picked as the 26th man. We're going to talk about the positional depth that the Blue Jays have right now, which is looking pretty good. And we're going to cover why Alek Manoah got chosen for the starting opening day starter over Gausman, and maybe a little bit more about the depth of our rotation right now as well. So, James, you want to get us started?
I do want to get us started. I think the Jays made a mistake. We should have traded Alek Manoah when we had value. When the asset had value,
when he was an all-star.
When the asset had value, damn it! Not a year after he had. Okay, I can't even do it. Super pumped for the kid to get the opening day start decision. I kind of thought it might go to Gausman as a nod to the veteran who is super consistent, but I find no fault in the decision to go with Manoah.
Yeah, that's how I feel as well. Like it could have been Gauss, maybe it should have been, but Alek is not a runner-up. Like they're 1A and 1B right now, and so either one could have got it. The big man's taking the bump on the first day. It's gonna be good. He's gonna set the tone for the season. He's a tone setter for sure. So
yeah,
it's gonna be great.
It's the other thing it is it's a feather in his cap for being the kind of guy he's being as a champion of people that are not made of Adonis physiques. That he went to bat for Captain Kirk when the sports writer in Montreal went after him, called it embarrassing somehow that Kirk was running around the bases like he was supposed to do in baseball, but somehow that's embarrassing. Get out of town. Manoah came to his defense there, and then when a guy came after Manoah, he just said, "You know what? I know who I am. I know what I need to do." And he does it. And that's all he's done the entire time he's been in the league is show up in big moments, get it done, and throw fire. So I don't understand anybody that's got a problem with him. And what did he do? All he did was earn in his second year, earn the opening day starter nod. Get out of here. That's awesome. Good for you, kid.
So way to go, man. Good work. Congratulations to Alek Manoah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited. The big moment thing. Pitching in a big game. There's a lot of hype on opening day. And he's the kind of guy too that he could maybe he could be gripping it a little tight in the first inning, but he's really, really good at figuring out what he's doing wrong in a day and correcting his pitches, like mechanically correcting how he's throwing the ball in an outing. That he'll just say to something like, "I gotta finish the pitch, finish rotation," whatever he says in his head, and then he starts to get it back on the rails. So even if it doesn't go super well right out of the gate, he's really well equipped to handle the opening day hoopla.
100%. Yeah. Couldn't agree more with you there.
And it's on the road, which helps.
On the road in St. Louis.
So our first, I haven't done the math or the calendar and figured this out, but do you know who would be in line for opening day Blue Jays
same.
home?
I think it's same.
It would work out the same way, I think?
Because it's 10-day road trip, right? 10-game road trip.
Just 2 through.
And so then 2 through the cycle and then back to the first guy. So it would be Manoah's third start.
Good for him. That would be like double feather in his cap, right on.
Yeah. The home opener is just as big, even if it is 10 days later.
Yeah.
Or 11, I'm not sure how long. I'm not sure if they have an off day in there or what, but.
Right. Yeah. think, I don't know what it is either. The just the fact remains though that out of the major leagues and in the if you want to just go AL East, I'm taking us on against everybody. I think that Tampa Bay later in the season when they get I think it's Glasnow. There's somebody that's hurt right now.
Glasnow will be back soon. Yeah,
And like they've got a very solid rotation there. So I'm not,
they
but
do have a solid rotation there.
I'll still take the Jays. We got a good mix of guys that throw the ball a different way than each other. Um, like you've got your tacticians and you've got your fireball guy and you've got your sinker guy, and I just think that the way the Blue Jays rotation sets up is really good. Even in a given series, you're never going to see the same kind of pitcher twice.
Yeah, and I think that Toronto's lineup is considerably better than Tampa Bay's lineup. So
Agreed.
yeah, I think the Yankees and the Blue Jays will be fighting it out for the top spot in the division, and then after that, it will be Tampa, smack in the middle,
Yes,
and
the
then
the Yankees
Boston and Baltimore will be fighting it out for the last spot.
the Yankees, despite having a very mediocre rotation, especially to start with their injury
Oh
situation.
man, their injury situation is crazy.
So as long as
3
the
of their
Jays,
starting
yeah,
guys.
the Jays need to keep healthy, and I know it never happens. Ever somewhere along the line, it's hard to
Yeah.
conceive of in the moment. It's like, well, of course we're gonna stay healthy all year
Well, and
long.
we can always hope that Ryu comes back super strong
I, that's the
in
other
the
side.
second half of the
That's
season.
another secret thing that could happen
Like
later.
if that
Yeah,
happens, that's like a trade. That's like a trade deadline trade.
yeah,
Like it's like an acquisition at the deadline that you already have.
yeah, yeah,
So fingers crossed that he comes back solid.
yeah. I really hope that things work out for him too. Yeah, it'd be quite the situation with if you had a Ryu and a Bassett, um, throwing their entire arsenal, and the way they like both of those guys go about it in a very similar way, that know they know their own arsenal and the way they each
Yeah.
individually like to attack a hitter. So I think of like we talked earlier about what's his face. Like, oh, we talked earlier about Jansen being a great catcher, but like these are the guys that that Jansen really shines with, is the
Yeah.
Swiss Army knife pitchers.
Yeah. Well, can you imagine getting it from the right side one day and then the left side the next day?
Exactly. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's
And then Kikuchi gets relegated to the bullpen, and maybe you got a playoff bullpen. I'm not quite sure it's there. We got a good bullpen. It's solid, but I don't know that it's a World Series winning bullpen.
well
I think moves will be made before
I'm
the end of
still
the
not
season.
I'm still not sleeping on like Pearson when he gets his chance. Um he threw the highest average velocity of any Blue Jays pitcher throughout the entirety of camp. Um
Yeah.
so
Yeah, he's got the pop.
and he was in the zone, which was the thing that the Jays coaching staff wanted him to do with his camp, was to say, you know what, you got the stuff. I want you to attack the zone, and he attacked the zone and got results in spring training. I think I don't think he's like anybody's owed anything, but I think he deserves a shot, and when he gets his shot again, he'll
It'll be early. We'll
it,
see him in May,
he'll have
probably.
they'll have a hard he'll I think he's gonna make a good case for himself to stay as long as possible. That's what I
Yeah,
think
I
he's
agree.
gonna
When he
do.
comes up, I think he'll fight hard to stay there.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
we talk about, like, we've got Jimmy, but Jimmy's not a young guy anymore, is
No, but
he?
his
Like,
velocity has ticked up this year. So
he's still good, but to say like you've got these back end guys that throw heat, you can, I think, like I said earlier before, I think Nate fits better. You can use him as a long relief guy, but if you're going to use him as a reliever, his stuff plays better later in the game, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of why he's a weird piece, and I think that's why he didn't start the season with the team. But I think you also got to bank on Chad Green coming back in the
Forgot.
second half as
I
well,
completely forgot about Chad Green coming back
right?
too.
And
Yeah,
then you got another back end of the bullpen guy
yeah, yeah,
who's probably a more of an eighth inning. So you got like Jimmy 7, Green 8, Romano 9.
yeah.
Well, that sounds pretty decent to me.
Pretty not bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No,
yeah,
I and I can't believe when we were talking about our final pitcher spot, the we completely both flew over Zach Pop. I don't know.
yeah. I don't know why either.
He was on the list of people we were looking at.
Yeah,
I looked at our notes later. He was right there, Zach Pop. I'm like,
yeah. I don't know
we
what it was. I feel
just
like all the games that I didn't watch is when he played, and then so I just didn't see him. He was out of sight, out of mind.
yeah,
But yeah, that was kind of a funny one.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
a blunder on our part, but
yeah.
yeah,
Can't get them all, right?
can't win them all exactly.
But no, I like you think about that. You got like we missed because we have in the minors you have Trent Thornton, Zach Thompson, Nate Pearson, um,
And Drew
who
Hutchison,
Drew Hutchison.
such that it is.
That you have a lot to draw on if things aren't going well, and like they stretched
Yeah,
out.
Jay Jackson.
JJ, didn't they give him a release?
Yeah, but they got him back
Really?
today. They signed him to a split contract, so
Ah,
that if he's in the bigs, he'll get his bigs deal, and if he's in the minor leagues, he'll get his minor league
oh, that's
deal.
good. Cool, good for them. That's a
Yeah, he'll
good,
be a good guy to call up in May or June.
cool stuff. Yeah, I like it. Um, that's the kind of stuff that you think about when you think about your depth in your bullpen, and you go like, okay, like in the last few years, it didn't take us long to fall out of it when we started having injuries or started having anybody had a kind of an issue come up. We were chewing up a ton of bullpen innings and did not have enough arms to make that happen.
Yeah. Well, another reason, hopefully, this starting rotation does what it's expected to do, and we'll be using the bullpen a lot less.
So I'm thinking about um, how are the Jays like? So immediately I thought about Biggio versus Lucas, especially in the last spring training game. I'm like, well, if it's Lucas and he's a left bat and Biggio's a left bat, Biggio's obviously got the infield capabilities more or just all together that Lucas doesn't have. Where that's where you were talking about Otto Lopez and everything, but
Yeah.
that's why it's like okay, Lucas starts on the roster, and it's to spell out guys. It'll probably be like a few weeks or a month or something like that he's on the roster for. If nobody gets hurt, he shuffles back to sprint to
Yeah.
AAA.
Well, and I
That
don't
kind
know
of
if
like
you heard John Snyder talking about it today, but he talked about it earlier and said that he'll probably be bench guy, late innings, maybe a runner, that sort of thing here and there to begin with.
get that kind of utilization. Yeah,
Yeah, and I figure that's it. And then the thing is I heard an opinion uh, earlier today that the reason they went with Lucas is because our outfield is more prone to injuries than our infield.
I mean,
Picking on Springer and Kiermaier a little bit there.
yes, it is. Like the only way I think it makes sense as an argument is to say like uh prone to like light injuries that wouldn't land them on the DL. Like,
Right. And I think
oh,
that's
sorry,
kind
not
of
DL. I should say IL.
IL. Yeah.
I'm a dinosaur.
I say
I'm on the
same.
dinosaur list.
Dinosaur list. Yeah. That's good.
um, no, so yeah, like if they're not going to land on the IL because oh the elbow's a little sore, but don't take me out because it's the minimum. What's the minimum? Is it a 10-day?
10. Yeah.
if you're on an IL, right? So if you're going to be like, well, my arm's a little bit sore, I'm just going to sit out a couple of games. We don't have to make big roster moves, costing options
Yeah.
or not, or I don't know
Exactly.
how that works, right? But then you have Lucas for the outfield depth because we're set
Exactly.
for guys on our roster that can play infield, all the infield positions between Santiago and Biggio. Um, you have enough flexibility to cover every one of the infield bases.
And
Uh,
both corner outfields.
and you could do both corner outfields if you want. Yeah. So like you've got enough depth with those guys to say, okay, we're set that way. So I think that's part of the decision was just like, yeah,
Yeah.
the we can load management for the guys that are aging, or
Yeah. Load management.
that have injury worries that we want to try and manage a bit. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that was the main. I mean, he gets to a lot of balls. When he's hitting, he was throughout spring training consistently uh, getting getting things done in a moment when there was like runners to cash in or some kind of situation. Lucas came through quite a bit. So
Yeah. I mean, he did what he needed to do, obviously. Um, he was hitting really well, so hopefully he can just come up and it's really hard, man, to sit on the bench for 7 innings or 8 innings and then be asked to come in and contribute. So hopefully he
yeah,
can
yeah,
and work himself into a bigger role, maybe. Who knows? But
yeah. But I think that if you go there and that's the Lucas decision and like what went into it, I think that is the main
okay.
driver. What are the realistic chances that Santiago Espinal gets traded? Because I think that Santiago Espinal is now in a bit of potential conflict, maybe not the right word, but with Biggio. You've got two middle infielders by trade that are being kind of utilized in more of a utility type role. Um, if you're going to put Witt as your main everyday second baseman, although I don't think they're going to have an everyday second baseman. We'll see.
Not in the
That
true sense, but I think Witt will get the lion's share of the starts at second base.
sure, but like out of 162, he'll get he'll get 80 and the other two will get
80.
40 each.
Yeah, and then he'll get another
Like
20 games in the outfield or
he'll
something
get some
like.
more stuff out there, that kind of thing. But it was
Yeah.
like you say lion's share, and I'm like, yeah, but also committee. Like he gets the biggest share, but it's a
Yeah.
committee position for them. But I'm just is Santiago like does he become a piece that you can move? Are you going to
I
think
think
about
definitely he's a piece you can move.
well if you're not like if because we talk about the Biggio is a guy like he's either got to kind of make it happen, or the Blue
Yeah.
Jays are at a point where they're probably going to want to
I
move
think
on.
it's kind of a good internal sort of competition between the two because it's going to keep them both working hard for that spot.
Agreed.
So it could work out really good for the Jays. And then I would guess that Espinal, I mean, if they both work really hard and they both shine, then Espinal could get traded for an arm at the deadline, depending on where we're sitting,
Yeah,
standings wise.
yeah. Or how and yeah, I mean it feel anytime you have one of these guys that's been with the team for a while, uh it starts you get the emotional attachment.
Oh yeah, all
I
I
have
can
a
think
hard
of
time.
is John McDonald and Kawasaki. He's the same guy. He's exactly the same guy. He's a little better than that. He was an all-star last year. Like he's not a backup guy really anymore, and
No,
he needs to be playing. So,
well he showed it that
like
like you said at the
he
start of
might be
last
worth
year,
it.
he was out on like a house of fire at the start of the year last year, and
Yeah.
he fell on a little bit of hard times, but like the over the course of his time with the Jays, from what I've seen, all he's done is get better. He gets
100%.
he gets hits at important times when he needs to. He's got a great defensive ability, and he's a pretty fast, athletic guy running the bases. So if he's doing those things for your baseball team,
Yeah.
and you say, okay, but this other guy was just buddies with Guerrero and Bichette coming up through the system more. Is that why we actually keep Biggio? Like, I just don't think
Is
that's the
is
reason why
he
you
still
keep a
their best
player.
buddy now? Or is SB? I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that's a reason to keep a player. I think because Biggio has way more versatility. Like Espinal plays second base and shortstop.
Yeah, and they kind of try and
Maybe third base still a little
shoehorn
bit,
him
but
in a little
like,
bit. Yeah,
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 he hasn't played third base in a while since Chapman showed up, really. So I think with Biggio playing the corners and second base and the corner outfield, like that's just someone off your bench that you can use. He can start every day because you can start for this guy that day, then you start for this guy the next day, then you start. He's your load management right there.
plus he's a left bat.
Plus he's a lefty bat. Plus he's a good on base guy.
Smart on base.
He's
Yeah,
smart when he's on the base.
yeah,
Like Biggio's got a lot of upside, even
yeah.
though I like to rag on him because he takes a lot of strike three looking.
And that's not really his fault because he's got a great eye.
It's not always
Uh,
his fault. Yeah. Like sometimes that is definitely umpires for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Well, like I mean, it is unfortunate when you got a really good eye and you know where the strike zone is, and in an at bat you'll get a like you'll take a pitch and it'll be just off the plate and they'll call it a ball at the start of the at bat or something like that. And then you go through your whole at bat and then
Yeah.
same pitch comes near the end of the at bat and you're like, hey, no, I've got this one. I remember this pitch from earlier, and he rings you up and you say, well, the hell, or the other way around where you start off the at bat. Vladdy had this a bunch last year where they throw it like freaking 6 inches outside and he wouldn't swing at it or anything, but it would be called a strike. And then immediately Vladdy's like in his head, like, how big is the strike zone here? I guess I have to just
Yeah.
protect
Protect everything.
everything in front of the
Yeah. And
ballpark.
nobody but
Like,
Bo is hitting those balls.
yeah, he's the only one who gets to him. Yeah, exactly. So when you have a bad call go against you at the start of an at bat, and I think that happened to Biggio a lot, and I think he's got enough upside and skill, like I say, that he should be able to have better overall results.
Yeah. And I think a full healthy season for him too. Like no nagging hand injuries and whatever. Like he was playing relatively hurt for a while.
Yeah,
So I think, that's a big
didn't he have
theme
a didn't
of
he
the
have a
Blue Jays
back?
this year.
Didn't he have a back injury too or something? I thought he
Yeah,
had a
maybe I'm not sure the
yeah,
particulars of all his injuries, but he was injured for a lot of the season
and it came up
and played through a lot of it.
And it came up too at a time they talk about this with well, I'll use Vladdy and Bichette because they came up at the same time ish. Is the like full seasons without the disruption of the COVID stuff and playing in
Right.
Buffalo and playing in Florida and playing on the road and like your first spring training, first everything all season long, like a regular major league person.
Hmm.
You're like, so can that help him? I think it should help everybody in the major leagues, but I would assume it would.
Oh, look what it's done for Bo. When Bo finally turned it on in September and the way he's looked through spring training this year, like he's
Yeah,
finally, done it enough that he's ready. He's ready to go. He's a major leaguer now.
yeah,
So I think we'll see the same out of Cavan now that he's getting to play some more.
yeah,
Yeah, that opportunity is going to be huge for him, I think.
yeah. I sure hope it does. I mean, I've been cheering for him to have as much success
Yeah,
as his buddies he
I
came
mean,
up
we
with.
all like him,
Yeah, yeah.
and
No.
he's more than a bench guy.
So okay, we've clearly established that Biggio has quite a bit of value for the Blue Jays if you really
Oh
start to break it
yeah.
down. Um, So where do you go outside of Biggio? We've got Espinal. Like who could be a trade chip later or not, depending on how things are going. If they just decide, look, we're doing good as we are, let's stand pat. Let's take this team and go take it as far as we can take it. Like right now, I don't want to trade Kikuchi, which is awesome. Like, can you like
Yeah,
from the first show we did a month ago, wondering if he was, you know what, guys, he's just the fifth starter. He just starts the fifth game, and then after that, it's a crapshoot. Nobody knows.
crapshoot.
To like
He
maybe the most consistent spring training pitcher so far.
he had the
Like,
best ERA of the Jays pitchers in spring. He had the most strikeouts of the Jays pitchers in spring.
yeah, yeah.
So, let's go.
Like,
Kikuchi,
gotta hope that happens.
the
And we
bearded
just,
dragon. I'm on board. It's
yeah,
all the beard. It's all in the
yeah.
beard.
It is the beard, isn't it? I mean, who are your left fielders? You're starting
Yeah.
Varsho. You're starting your Varshos, and then who would you
Yeah, Varshall's going to play left every day that he's not playing center field.
preferentially, who's taking over in left field? Is it
When
always
he plays center field, I think it's either Merrifield or Lucas.
yeah? And then if Merrifield is in the outfield, they'll put Santiago likely at
Espinal,
the
well, yeah,
at
exactly.
the middle infield.
Yeah.
And will it be that scenario kind of around the entire outfield? So if Kiermaier isn't playing center field, it's Varsho. If Varsho's not playing center field and Kiermaier's not playing center field, is it Springer? And if all three of them aren't, you don't
Yes.
have like it's always going to be one of your three main guys center
Yeah,
field.
Springer thinks of himself as a center fielder, which I love the guy, but he's not really anymore. But he wants to play center field, so he'll get his kicks at the can there
Yeah.
as many, and so Varsho will still play left for those games. And then you probably have Biggio playing right more than Merrifield playing right, even though he did play right the other day for some reason. Or Lucas is best. I think it's center and right are his preferred
Right.
locations in the outfield.
Okay.
So I could be wrong there. I'm not 100% certain. But I think, yeah, left field is going to be Varsho starting all the time, and then once in a while we'll see Merrifield out there, and I think that's probably the most of it, unless someone gets hurt.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I
That
think
makes sense.
Varsho will play a lot of games. Varsho will play 150 games or
Yeah.
more, and most of them will be at left, and then some of them will be in center.
And are we going to see are we going to see like a Barger in the majors on the infield this year at all? Or
No.
a who else was close?
No, I think the next guy you'll see is Lopez or Vinny Capra.
Yeah.
And then if we have to go beyond that for this season, they are probably going outside of the organization.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. If you have to go beyond that, you're probably in a pretty bad injury situation, long-term injury situation that you have to fully replace a major league level guy.
So, hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that's that. The infield's pretty set. So let's move into the because our catchers are both in the top 10. I just wanted to mention to every other organization in the major leagues who doesn't want to take note that in MLB's top 10 catchers, there's 2 Blue Jays catchers.
Yes. We also, as a duo, had the highest OPS of a catching duo last year as well.
Like, no big deal.
No big deal. Jansen's finally getting a little respect put on his name, and everybody knows that Kurt can mash. So,
yep. Well, Jansen on a pretty short sample size last year had pretty respectable numbers. The pace that he was on, if he would have gotten a full season, I think sure, there would have been a dip and everything likely, but he would have had a pretty solid outing if he would have been healthy the whole time. So
I think we might see a little regression in his hitting because he's got so much work to do catching Chris Bassett. Man, that's got to be a challenge. Like when Ryu came over and he kind of had a little dip in the hitting as well because he was struggling so hard to get
Yeah,
all his pitches down. It's similar. He'll get back. He'll get back.
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
But
I
there'll be a
think
little
that
dip.
being a major leaguer, being a major league hitter, just figuring that part out, I think we'll have like each year you get better as a major league hitter, and that won't go away. I
Well,
think,
and he's figured himself out, right? Like
yeah,
he's not trying to go the other way anymore. He's just
yeah,
see the ball, hit the ball, pull the
yeah,
ball as much as you can.
yeah, yeah. Swinging
I'm
pitches
in.
that you
He's
like.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, he's a great game caller. So
And in
I
today's game, any offense you get out of your catcher is outstanding.
yeah, and we got two of the best
He
right
hit
now.
260 or something last season.
Yeah, take it.
So take
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to stay up to date on all our content. There'll be some more of our educational animated videos coming out soon. So stay tuned for that. And thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.